Hi, everyone. This is Kirsten Hall with Pointe Publishing, coming to you with another introduction interview of one of our newest authors, Kathleen Siekman. As you know, if you've been watching our conversational interviews that we've been doing, you know that we run a very scripted reality TV show over here where Kathleen already knows the answers because she picked out the questions. And she's got 9 different questions for us today. So we will get right going with this. They're pretty good questions too. We should know quite a bit of her about her by the end of this here. All right. So the first question, describe your desk.
My desk. So my desk is typically messy. I do try to be neat, and I'll go through kind of that phase where I just throw everything away and start over. And probably within about a week, it's a disaster again. But I usually can find what I need. There was one time in college, and I was the same way in college. My room, you could tell whose side was who in with our roommates. And there was one time my roommate was asking me for a menu for a takeout. And I had stacks of books and papers all over my desk. And within seconds, I just reached in, pulled it out, and gave it to her. She was completely amazed.
Mhm.
But yeah, my desk is typically a mess.
Oh, well, I really think that sign, a clean desk is the sign of a sick mind,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
is, well, I don't know if it's sick so much as, but I mean, yeah, it makes sense because, you got
Yeah.
lots of things going on. It makes total sense to me.
Yep.
Um, yeah, my desk is, oh boy.
Yep.
All right. What is the story behind your latest book?
So my book, which is The Adventures of Belle and Belle Meets Henry, it's about her basically adventures in my neighborhood. I live in a quaint little neighborhood, and we have a lake, and we get lots of little creatures roaming the lake. So this is about her meeting some of those creatures, and it's really about, in my mind, the expression of getting to know people and realizing that you're not the only person in your neighborhood or your city or your state.
Mhm.
And to truly understand who and what you are, you need to meet new people, find out about their experiences, and see what makes them happy, for you to understand their perspective on things. And through observation, and it doesn't have to be direct. It could just be, stories showing them how to meet somebody and ask the right questions and explore what this person does or likes to do, for them to understand. So that's my hopes for this book,
Well,
that comes across.
I know with, like I've told you before, I enjoy looking at all the critter pictures that you have on your Facebook posts.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that we're up to what, 14 different books in the series by now? I mean, with
Yeah,
with
we
the
can have a
zoo
ton.
with the zoo you've got going on in your backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of fun, seeing all the critters come either through my backyard or at the lake when we're walking around the lake. So
How now it's Katy Lake?
yes, it's Katy
Okay.
Lake.
How big is Katy Lake?
That's a really good question. It's not very big. I don't know the exact circumference of it, but you can't go fully around it because we don't have a bridge that connects one side to the other, but you can go behind it. Um, it's probably a 10-minute walk. I
Okay.
mean, it's not a big lake, but it's big enough
Mhm.
that we have beavers and we have geese and we have ducks and herons and egrets, and I mean, like, you name it, it's probably in there. Turtles, loads of turtles, and then the deer that come back and forth, and the coyote that come after the deer, and
Oh, yeah,
it's
and
it's
I know
crazy.
you've got owls and hawks, and do you have any eagles out
Yes.
there?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
What's interesting is I've not seen an eagle in my neighborhood, but there was one day that I was driving in the area that we live, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw something swooping down. And I
Mhm,
looked at my husband, I'm like, was that an eagle? I mean,
mhm.
because it had the white head, it was huge and it had the
Yeah,
white head. And he's like, I think it was. And it
mhm.
was completely out of place,
Yeah.
in this area. It just didn't register. But I think, we do have eagles apparently.
Well, yeah, I mean, from what I was saying with what I've seen in all the pictures, it looks like you have a great birding sanctuary
Yes,
back there.
yes, yes, we
So,
do.
well, keep posting the pictures. I enjoy seeing them. Um, all right, and actually for everyone out there, if you're on Facebook, is it author Kathleen Siekman or Kathleen Siekman author?
Author Kathleen Siekman.
Author Kathleen Siekman, look her up on Facebook, hop onto her uh, page as a follower, and then you can see all the pictures that I see of all the critters that are living in her backyard.
Yep.
All right, what are you working on next?
So, two things actually now. I have a kind of a small, silly little book called Holes in Your Nose.
Mhm.
And that's just about a little child that wakes up with a runny nose and just doesn't know what to do with all the goo. So it's just a little bit about that. And then to continue on the series of The Adventures of Belle, she's meeting the beavers. So
Okay.
we have a pair of beavers in our lake. They're new residents this year.
Mhm.
And so it's just, I'm trying to figure out how to weave in her meeting the couple, as I
Okay.
call it. I'm assuming they're a couple.
Well, fine. In your book, they
In my
are.
book,
And
they are.
standing out on the shore of the lake. Okay, here's how I've got to figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Why do you think people should read your book? Or why should they read all of your books?
So, I think with the series, again, I think it just fosters in children that curiosity
Yep.
of, there's many different people in this world and we're all different and that's okay. Um, you know, Ask questions to understand where they're coming from and it may make our world tick just a little bit better.
Mhm.
So, and Holes in Your Nose is just one of those silly little books that, I hope gives you and your children a good chuckle before you go to bed at night.
And in case they wake up with,
A runny nose.
a
Yeah,
runny nose, yeah,
I
it
don't know
could
what to do with
happen.
it.
All right. Who is your ideal reader?
Well, so it would be for the age groups of probably 2 to 7. But of course, you want the parents and all of that because a 2-year-old can't read the book,
Yeah.
but you as their person can read the story to them. So obviously the story lends itself to children, but some of them may need their adult person to read it to them.
Oh, yeah. Plus, you probably know as much as I do that when you read to kids, they learn how to read a lot faster
Yeah.
than sitting out on their own. Tell us a little bit about yourself now that we know about all who live in your backyard and all of your books. What about
Yeah,
Kathleen?
sure. So a little bit about me. So I am married to a wonderful husband named Jim. We've been married for 22 years, just this past May 15th. Thank you. I have two wonderful daughters. One is 21 and she is a rising senior at Furman University. And then I have a daughter that is turning 18 and she's a rising senior in high school. So, I like to take walks with the family and my dog and bring my camera and take pictures. And, it's just family time is really the most important thing to me.
Yep, I completely understand. I mean, my my youngest is gosh, 19 now, going to be 20. My
Okay.
oldest is going to be 28 in June. And all those years when people are like, enjoy them because they grow up so fast. And when you're in the throes of 3 a.m. screaming
Yeah.
kids and diapers and kids fighting, and you're like, oh my gosh, Calgon, take me away.
Yes.
Now you get to this, you're like, oh, but they all grew up.
They
And
grew
now
up
they're all,
so fast.
they got taller than me. And
Yeah.
what do
Yeah.
you mean they're gonna leave me?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? So
Like the now what? Now what? I'll
yeah,
write a book. Yeah.
yeah. Now what? What am I gonna do now? Yeah, I'll write a book and I'll start a publishing company. And I'll get my daughter to be my other half. Oh, that'll loop them.
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
Exactly.
now you've figured out my secret evil plan of how to
Yeah.
keep my kids nearby. Anyway, all right. What TV shows or films do you enjoy watching?
Oh, probably too many to tell. We can't wait for Ozarks to come back out. We're
Yes.
waiting for that next one to drop. But I
Oh,
also love some of the oldies of my generation, like Friends and Seinfeld, and I can watch those any day of the week and not get tired of it. I
mhm.
love The Big Bang Theory, Modern Family. As you can tell, there's a theme here, mostly comedies.
Oh,
Ozarks, throw that in there just for a little drama.
yeah. I don't know if there's not much comedy in that one, but man, I
Yeah,
love it. That first episode, I was
comedy.
like, oh, this
But
is
I
for
tend to
me.
have it.
Yep. No, I
Yeah, yeah,
completely enjoy
it's
that.
good.
All right. Favorite foods and favorite color, favorite music.
Okay, so favorite foods, everything. That's probably my Achilles heel. I like sweets. I like salty and savory, and I just like food. And the struggle is real. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and then favorite color is purple.
Mhm.
And music, I like all music. There's very little that I do not like. I'm not a big fan of the hardcore rap,
Mhm.
and I'm not a big fan of like your real opera. Not like your Phantom,
Mhm.
your real operas. It's just not me. But everything in between, I can just sit back and listen to. U2 was always my go-to.
Mhm.
Um, Coldplay now, I like Coldplay now. I mean, there's just too many things to list.
Mhm.
I grew up in a house that listened to music all the time. There wasn't a moment that I don't remember there being a record playing,
Mhm.
whether it be Irish music, because I'm Irish, and my parents had plenty of Irish records that we'd listen to Neil Diamond, to the Beatles, ABBA, and then all the way up through me growing up and all the music that I listened to. So
Well, you sound very much like me. Food, it's a real struggle. Purple, yeah.
yeah,
Music, I'm all over the dial.
yeah.
And now your favorite flower is peonies, right?
Peonies, yes,
Yep.
absolutely love peonies.
I had a peony when I saw that on your bio.
Mhm.
I had a peony plant once, a couple
Uh,
of them, and just
yeah,
beautiful bloom, but they
yeah,
were always covered in
yeah,
ants.
yeah,
Yes,
yes,
ants,
they
lots and
attract
lots of ants.
ants.
And then my dog, her name was Oreo. Oreo would just go and sniff, 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 and then just throw her body on the peonies. And then,
Ugh,
of course, she's covered in ants. And
yes,
then there go my flowers. And I'm like,
yeah, yeah, you have to shake them really hard if you cut them and bring them in. I don't have peonies. I tend to kill plants, so
okay,
I don't have a peony plant outside. But those that I know who grow them, if they cut them to bring them in the house, you have to shake them pretty hard to
yeah,
get all the ants out.
get a hair dryer on them or something, blow
Yeah,
those ants away.
blow stuff away. Yeah,
I mean, they look so nice and whatever. You get closer, you're like, oh,
yeah.
ants. Anyway, all right. What do you want written on your headstone?
So, kind of a unique question for somebody who's writing children's books, but it is kind of a funny story.
Mhm.
So, I am deaf in my right ear,
Mhm.
and I was probably about 12 when I lost the hearing in that ear from an infection.
Okay.
And we were, years later, we were at my grandmother's funeral. And one of my other cousins happens to be deaf in one of her ears as well, but from birth.
Mhm.
And we were sitting next to each other chatting about this. And of course, we could hear each other because our good ears were facing each other, but we really couldn't hear anybody else that was sitting around us. And so the running joke was, we were talking about how uncomfortable it is sitting in a group because it's hard to hear everybody. And I told them that I hate round tables because with a rectangular table or a square table, I can pick a corner that puts my good ear facing most people. Where a round table, it's a lost cause.
Yeah.
So the running joke at my grandmother's funeral was, what would be written on my headstone is, may there be no round tables in heaven. So I'm sticking with it.
That works perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I had a oh man, there is a Headstone in Minneapolis that just, I could drive to it. I can't tell you what's on there anymore. I had it written down and then I put it on my desk. We'll never see it again. But anyway, but that theory of and I don't know who said it, but come running in, sliding into your coffin, with looking well used.
Yes.
I'm ruining the whole thing. Someone said it. I love it. And I can't remember it. This is like me trying to tell a joke. It just doesn't work so well.
Yeah. Why be
Never mind.
beautiful at the end? You want to be, well used and worn, and that means you lived a good life and a long life. And
Yes. I'm pretty sure that my day of my funeral, I'm going to be like this. I can't get there at like 10 o'clock. Could we schedule it for, I don't know, maybe like a 4:30, 5 o'clock sunset? I mean, I could probably write you in for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Kirsten will be buried with her calendar.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Well, those are the questions I have for you. Can you think of
Okay.
anything else you would like to say?
No, I mean, I think that's it. Hopefully if people have questions, they can reach out on my Facebook page. I'm also on Instagram. The same, I believe the handle is author Kathleen Siekman as well on Instagram. And just ask me questions. I'm more than happy to answer.
And actually, for everyone out there, if you look on foxpointepublishing.com, it's FOXPOINTE publishing.com, because we're fancy, and click in the navigation bar, click professional, scroll down, you will see Kathleen's picture. If you click on that, her email is listed as well. Actually, all the different places you can find her is listed on there. So that's how to get a hold of her. And then let's see, the first book will either be out, well, it's going to be out what, January of 2022?
Yeah, right. Early 2022.
Okay.
So hopefully that means January. So, but we'll see how the process goes.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah. That should be fun. And I was talking with Chelsea yesterday about the Holes in the Nose book.
Yes.
Is that going in front of an illustrator in July?
I think it is. That one actually might beat The Adventures of Belle to the presses.
Yeah. So put it
Yeah.
this way, the end of 2021 and the early 2022, Kathleen is going to be a very busy woman with all of the different book releases and coming off of the holidays, and really anything that's coming in December, January. Your press releases and your advertising is really going to start at the end of October because of all of the holiday gift guides that print in November.
Yep.
Okay, yes, watch Facebook and Instagram and her website. She's gonna be busy. Anyway, all right. Well, I thank everyone for joining us this afternoon. We should be back, I believe, later this week or next week with yet another, not an author interview, but a proofreader, alpha reader interview. And I thank you so very much for joining us today. Have a fabulous day in your neighborhood. Bye.